Special thanks to the Christian Children's Home of Ohio for sponsoring the third place. For more information, go to ccho.org. That's ccho.org.
Christian Children's Home of Ohio provides a safe environment where children can find healing, discover hope, and experience unconditional love through certified trauma therapies designed to meet the needs of each child. Our 165-acre Worcester campus includes 4 cottages that are home to as many as 46 at-risk youth whose lives have been turned upside down by abuse, neglect, and trauma. We focus on helping residents build skills to live productive lives and reintegrate back into the community.
This is the Third Place podcast, recording from the JLP CPA sponsored studio. I'm Brian Dolan. Right next to me in her throne, Lauren Cuevas.
Home is your first place, work is your second place, and this is your third place where the Christian community gathers.
Today, we're pleased to have on a fan favorite.
Correct.
Northeast Ohio legend. He is an ISA board certified master arborist, but we all affectionately know him as the Cranky Arborist, John Palmer.
Woo!
John Palmer's here. You made it.
I did.
And you're wearing your ISA board certified shirt.
I got to go to work after this. Somebody's got to pay the
Someone's
bills.
got to work.
I didn't know you had a uniform, though.
Yeah, I got 5 shirts that all look the same. So, yeah, my outfit, I look the same 6 days a week if I'm working. So.
Do you get a badge being an ISA board certified arborist?
They give you a little patch, but I'm...
A patch?
They give you, and a sticker and all that kind of, yeah, whatever. So legally, no one can actually, you can't wear this shirt unless you actually, so in order to get these printed, they're actually printed locally, by the way. A place out in Kirtland, I believe it's Kirtland, it's called Arborwear. And they just do, they do stuff for, it's a monstrous facility. They do all, tree related, professional work, protective equipment, pants, shirts, the whole 9 yards. And so you have to order through them, and you have to make sure, like, are you who you say you are? And so
you show them your patch.
So
it's okay, I've got a patch.
But I could have bumped some dude off on the way in and took his patch or whatever. So,
yeah, I was going to say, like, what if you take that to the thrift store one day?
Yeah,
and I could pick it up.
It's true, though.
Then I could wear it.
Yeah, you don't know arborists in shirts, okay? We destroy them. So they're when
nothing
we're
to
done
go.
with them, they're in the garbage. There's nothing, or we throw them underneath the sink. We use them for rags. That's what you do.
You take your polo uniform very seriously in the arborist community.
I guess so.
Well, but before we talk about, we're going to have to talk about late summer, fall type of things we're all doing wrong. We'll get to that in just a minute. And
I really didn't start out to be this negative Nancy, okay? But I'm just like,
well, it's not your fault we're doing it wrong.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to make it sound like all I do is just walk around just like, I can't wait to find someone who's doing it wrong and just rip them to shreds. No, it's not.
No, you're a very nice Cranky Arborist.
I try.
She was just called aggressively nice the other day, which I think is pretty apropos, as they say, somewhere.
Yeah, I was aggressive, but I was nice about it.
Yeah, I'm just.
That's how it is.
I try. I need to be more nice, so people will be more nice to me. Because you reap what you sow. So
right.
People can be a little cranky with me too. But I take it. It's all good. On balance, I'm way more crankier than most normal people.
So before we get to any sort of arborist, lawn care, tree care type stuff, I wanted to bring us a back to school story.
Cute.
Because school is starting soon. My children are going to be in school soon. Can't wait. It's that time of year where they just fight all the time and are super lazy, so they need to go back to school. So I found a story from last school year out west in the state of Washington. Okay, in fact, it was Goff Elementary School in Moses Lake, Washington. Have we been to Washington, any of us?
Yes.
No.
The state of Washington, yeah. Uh-huh.
Why did you go there?
I went to Seattle.
It's a pretty fun town.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with that. I'm surprised Mr. Arborist hasn't been over out west to see like the.
I have too much trouble with Ohio trees. Okay, I got plenty.
They cause me enough
I don't
grief.
even go to another state to find things. I'm trying to fix things here.
Well, so one of the teachers was minding her own business last school year, and she was like, "What's that? It's a mountain lion in the school."
Like inside the building?
Yeah. So calls administration. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Excuse me. There's a mountain lion in the school. And so they proceed to go on lockdown. Lock down the school. Code red. I don't know what that sound was, but And so everybody was scared. Investigators show up, lights and sirens. Let's go get them. Turns out it wasn't actually a mountain lion. It was just a really fat cat named George.
Oh.
And he was eating a rat.
Ew. Inside.
An orange cat. Yeah, one of those big fat ones.
Yeah. Like a
And the lady was like, oh, I'm just kidding. It wasn't a mountain lion. It was a cat. How do you mix up a mountain lion
They're
and a
very different.
fat house cat? I figure an arborist might know the answer to that.
With much ease, apparently.
Yeah. So the school on lockdown, all the parents get notifications
And it
that their
made-
children are in lockdown.
Like news across the country. Can you imagine being that teacher?
so embarrassing.
I mean, I'm glad she's
This is
cautious.
what happens when you cut science class to go outside for a smoke. I'm sorry, that's just so many
mountain
things.
lion.
So many people don't know so many things because they're just like, yeah, we'll cut class and go out and go jump in the local pool or whatever or something or other. And, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You
it's a
miss things like
feline.
that.
I mean, also, why was there a cat inside? That's weird too, but not as weird as a mountain lion.
When I was in high school once, we were sitting, it was first out, it was the first period, and I think it was physics or something horrible like that. And so the teacher had opened the door. It was on an exterior part of the school. And we're just sitting there, just zoned out. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. And a bat just kind of flaps
Oh
in.
no!
Starts flapping around the room, and we're all just like, is this a dream? Like nobody quite knew what was happening. And it went and it like parked inside of a cubby. And so the teacher called the custodian to come in, and we were all like, oh, good, he's going to like trap it and save it.
Right. Oh, no.
And we're all sitting there
no.
quietly. He walks over, and he's got like a broom handle. He's just, wham! And then puts it in a garbage bag and just walks out. We were like, dude, this is science class. What are you, don't do that.
Oh,
We had
sad.
a bat in my house.
I don't like bats.
I was about to go to sleep. My kids come down yelling and screaming, there's a bat in the house, bat in the house. It's not a bat. There's no bat in our house. It's probably just a butterfly or something. And so I go upstairs, and there's a bat flapping around.
Now you wonder why people can confuse a mountain lion for a cat for a mountain lion.
Right.
People that confuse bats and butterflies. I'm thinking you're well on the way to confusing a mountain lion with a
Well,
cat.
I was projecting onto my kids, thinking they couldn't tell the difference. I thought it might have been a bird or something, maybe, but
Yeah.
no, it was an actual bat. And so it flew around. I knew that Dracula is not real. I wasn't worried about
Very
a
good.
vampire bat in
Yeah.
Ohio. They're actually
Well,
great.
they still probably have some
Well,
diseases.
there was a recent story of some lady got a bat flew in her mouth or
I
whatever. She
saw
got really
that.
sick.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what was going on here.
She got
We
laid
didn't-
off and didn't have health insurance for a time. And then a bat flew in her mouth or something.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I was just
was
like,
it Doria?
No, thankfully, no.
Yeah, we've
I saw
had
that.
way too many bad stories. I don't know this
They're- I
thing
mean-
on vacation from Wuhan. I don't where did it come from?
they are gross, and they do have diseases.
No, they eat bugs. They're great. Like
Okay, but
Sarah wants
still.
me to build bat houses at our little farm because they eat the bugs. So it was flying around, and then I was like, I
Bat
guess it is a
houses.
bat. And it just kind of flew in the bathroom and just like sat on the screen, and it was just sitting there looking around. And it looked so nice. So I trapped it.
Yeah.
They're not like, I don't think they can see really well. So I got
Yeah,
a
right.
shoebox, and I just,
Yeah,
Boop.
they're all
And
about
slid something
they're all
under it.
about radar and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Echolocation.
and threw it outside. It saved its life and my kids all at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, you could tell them that, and they'll think you're you'll be their hero until they're like 11. And they're just like,
Yeah.
Dad, So look forward to that. By the way, you were talking about something stupid, the class you were in about physics.
Oh, yeah.
You never guessed what my favorite course in high school was.
It's probably biology or something dumb like that.
Physics.
Oh, gosh.
My favorite course.
It's like math and science all in one, which is my worst nightmare.
Oh, it's glorious. As long as it's linear. I do really poorly. I stunk at geometry.
Oh, yeah.
I don't do shapes well. My brain doesn't. Linear stuff. Yeah, I'm really good at that.
Did you like physics?
Well, we got to make roller coasters, so that was fun.
That's a physics teacher trying to be cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know
Usually doesn't
why
work.
gravity
if you're
works.
a teacher of physics, you have to go. My physics teacher was Mr. Wolfgang. I mean, it's just like that's just so perfect. In fact,
Yeah.
I brought a little tool I might show you later on.
Might. Now you have to.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if I'll bore the viewers, but it was actually designed by a German physicist.
Ooh.
So don't underestimate physicists and those Germans too.
We all know the most important science is social science.
Okay.
Hogwash, but okay.
No, it's true. It's my favorite. I'm a social scientist.
Okay.
Wait, I can say that, can't I? With my undergraduate degree
guess.
and former teacher of the social sciences.
I guess.
I was certified in the state of Minnesota to teach social studies.
Well,
Lauren.
Not here, so.
My license expired many years ago, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Things have changed a lot in history, you know. So
No, physical sciences are more important, because if you don't understand gravity, whatever, if you don't understand social sciences, you'll still survive.
I'll survive without knowing why gravity works. I just need to know that
Not
it
necessarily.
happens.
Yeah, it's just like people underestimate gravity all the time, and usually you see a YouTube video about it.
So true.
This is
Brian
very true.
watches them
Yep.
and laughs.
All right, so you are a board certified master arborist, not like those loser regular arborists.
And I'm not boring either. So that's the other thing too. So just because I'm bored doesn't mean I'm bored. Yes, whatever.
It took me a minute.
Yeah, it's a distinction. It's a distinction. I think there's about 1,100 of us worldwide.
Oh, wow.
So, it's the toughest 200 question test I ever took to pass that. And halfway through, I thought I'm going to fail this. And actually, a lot of people that take that test actually fail their first time.
Wow.
So when I got my score, I'm just like, I still have a lot.
did it.
I still have a lot to go. So you know what they call a doctor who finishes last in his class, don't you?
No.
Doctor.
Yeah, right.
Right.
As long as you
Still
pass,
passed.
you pass.
Nobody
But,
knows your grades, do
yeah,
they? Yeah.
and so for me, it was I realized I had a lot to after passing the test, going, okay, there's a lot of work here to work on.
But you've had many years to work on it. And so now you're going to get us all prepped for the fall. So when we record this, we're late August. Is this go time for starting to trim and cut? Let's get it, right?
This is go for planning time, because
What?
it's so hot and dry. You don't want to do a whole lot
very
now
humid.
because everything is, well, the humidity is not really an issue. I mean, it's an issue for us. Plants are they're all hunkered down now. They're some of them are even starting to go, extreme heat and extreme drought can actually start the process of dormancy. It's why your lawn turns brown. Now, the other thing I want to back up, so just because I'm an arborist, the other thing is I owned a premium services landscaping company for 20 years. So that means I understand turf, and we can talk pruning your roses and your hydrangeas. That was always our
Your Tinky
favorite.
Winkies, right?
And Pinky Winky.
Pinky Winky. Oh, yeah, that's a Teletubby.
Teletubbies.
I always forget.
Yeah, you do that all the time. But so when I became an arborist, about 10 years after starting my landscaping business, I became a such better landscaper, because I understood things and especially what was going on below ground. The most important thing was what you're dealing with is below ground issues. So when I go and do a consultation on a tree, looking at a tree, I'll look at what's going on above ground. But I know that, and other people have said this, and I initially scoffed when they said it, but they said that 80% of tree problems originate below ground. I thought that's crazy until I started doing consulting for a few years. 80% of tree problems are below ground issues. So soil issues are the number one issue for really anything, even plants in the landscape, even your turf. If you don't understand what's going on with the soil, you won't understand what you're seeing above ground.
So do you carry like a utility belt with you got a little trowel and like a soil testing kit?
I have a toolbox in my truck, and I have a bunch of tools.
I mean, it would be more practical to put it on a belt.
No, it wouldn't. Then I'd have to carry it around. I just get the stuff I need out of the truck, and then I can.
And his pants start sagging. Who's going around soil?
So are you soil testing then when you go to a client's house? Or are you like smelling the dirt? You're like picking it up and...
Not to that extent, but aroma of soil can actually tell you things on that.
Really?
It can tell you whether it's an aerobic environment or an anaerobic environment.
So what does it smell like?
Aerobic means oxygen rich, and anaerobic is oxygen reduced or oxygen limited. So basically the things that make us that smell funky to us or whatever oftentimes grow in an anaerobic or a low oxygen environment, including fungus and pathogens, disease-causing pathogens actually thrive in a low oxygen environment, and plants don't do as well in most cases in a low oxygen environment.
So if it's stinky, you've got a problem.
Possible. There's an earthy smell. Some people would say that soil earthy smells, and are like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Well, yeah, nature doesn't think so. So smell is only a part of it, but the average person can't smell soils and know the difference in that, because you're looking at texture as well. But there are spaces between the soil particles. The soil particles actually have a name. They're called PEDs, P-E-D-S, which is why the study of soils is called pedology.
I knew it.
Understanding pedology. Yeah, here's the big words here, just to separate myself from the
Yeah.
vox populi. But so there are spaces between the soil particles. Those spaces are utilized below ground for roots, things like earthworms, but also for oxygen and for water. So there are large spaces and there are small spaces, macropores, micropores. The macropores essentially get filled up with water when it rains, and then they drain really quickly because of the physics at work down there. I won't bore you with that, Brian.
Yeah,
since
please,
since you're
carry
a
on.
social scientist and wouldn't understand. But those drain first and more quickly, so there's oxygen in the large pores. The smaller pores, depending on the soil type there, actually hold the moisture, and that's where roots need to get into to be able to contact in order to pull water and minerals out of the soil. When we compact soil, so if you do construction around trees, around things with roots, you compact the soil. You reduce the amount of pore space, which means you reduce the amount of oxygen. Pretty much every living thing below ground utilizes oxygen and gives off carbon dioxide. So you have to have space for that gas exchange. So the gas exchange happens, the roots take in oxygen, and they give off carbon dioxide. If there's less space, that means less oxygen. It also means it's easier to fill up those spaces with carbon dioxide. So you get kind of you're in broadcasting, you know what a feedback loop is. It's the same thing in soils, where you have oxygen deprivation, which means there's less pore space, which means whatever CO2 is it fills up the pore spaces that need to be filled with oxygen in order for growing things to live. That's also why when we were talking about, putting in sidewalks and all that kind of stuff. Well, when you cover the soil, the below ground, at the surface of the soil, there's actually a gas exchange that happens at the surface of the soil. So oxygen for CO2. Oxygen is taken into the soil, CO2 comes out. That gas exchange needs to happen. When we cover that with things like concrete, asphalt, whatever it is, we inhibit that gas exchange in that particular area of that, and that actually can cause that kind of feedback loop, which is why things decline oftentimes.
So you were saying that, was it 80% of problems with trees are below ground?
Correct, yes.
So can you do anything about that? People buy, I remember my dad bought this stick thing that you hooked up the hose to, and it was supposed to like put food down to the tree or something.
Yeah.
And I think you hate those, right?
No, not really. Thanks for...
You don't need to do that though, right? Isn't that what you...
Well, if you're... what people don't know. So again, it's possible, but then a lot of times what people do is they think that they have to go and put stuff down 3, 4, 5 feet in the soil. Well, most roots are in the top 12 inches of soil. 12 inches. That's it. So as long as you get something into that layer, the simplest, cheapest, easiest, albeit probably the slowest way to decompact soil, mulch. Just put a couple inches of mulch on top of whatever you're doing, and whatever if you're around a tree, you want to make the ground better for a tree that, let's say, has turf around it, has had grass for years. Just take a couple inches of mulch.
Really?
And put that, because as the mulch breaks down, the organic matter gets into the soil and actually starts to break up the compaction of the soil and actually helps recreate what's called structure, the good structure of the soil, where the arrangement of the soil particles, the PEDs, and so organic matter will actually do that. And mulch is the quickest and cheapest and easiest way to do that. It will take years to do that, but that's actually a good thing.
What about aerating? Would that work around a tree?
You can do that.
Is that good at all?
It can help, but a lot of people do it every year. If you, and people are like, well, my soil gets really hard. Well, yes, if you have, a football team running up and down the soil, or a soccer team compacting the soil, the top couple inches, yeah, you might want to do that. But that's another cottage industry that the landscaping industry, they needed something to do before the grass started growing. Like, oh, we're going to do aeration. We'll do that in the spring and the fall. It's just another line item, another income stream. Sorry to blow the whistle on the landscaping industry, but so
it's not needed that often.
Not as often probably as it's done. I mean, golf courses, I'm a golfer, they aerate all the time. They aerate
people
every
are
year.
always walking on it.
They're always on the green, but what they want is water to be able to get down, into the turf and just below ground. So yeah. So what you do is they take a plug out of the soil, like an aerator takes a little plug out of it, and then you have this space. And what happens is the surrounding soil eventually will compact and push together. So it's It's for turf. It's also for, there's a lot of foot traffic on it, but it's also for drainage as well. So yes, it can help if your soil needs it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does. One of the things I carry in my truck, and it's 3 feet tall, so I couldn't hang it on my belt, Brian.
You're pretty tall.
Is a soil. I'd have to hang it around my neck.
Looks like a sword. You get a scabbard for it.
Well, yeah, whatever. I got a scabbard for my saw. That's about it. That's all I do. But it's a soil probe. So I push into the ground, and then it's got, a portion of it is open, so I can actually see the soil profile of what's in there, and that can tell me some things about the soil. So aeration, it can help in that particular situation. When people plant trees, they put this tiny little mulch ring around their tree. It's like 2 inches wider than the root ball that they planted. Don't do that. You want to help your new tree out. Put a mulch ring that's 4 feet or 6 feet from the trunk of the tree. Well, if it's in your yard, guess what? That's less grass to mow.
Does it matter what kind of mulch? It shouldn't be fresh wood chips, right? That'll burn it up or something.
Nope, that's absolutely a myth. There are lots of myths about mulch. If you want a good place to go to blow up myths about things, go to a website called gardenprofessors.com. It's a bunch of extension professors from around the country that use research to deal with lots of things, including a lot of myths. No, arborist wood chips, the best mulch you can get, because you have ground up bark, ground up wood, ground up leaves, ground up twigs, they all decompose at different speeds.
So fresh mulch, you're like, put it on there.
Absolutely. I've got that around my tree in my yard. Now some people don't like it because it doesn't look uniform like the brown mulches and black mulches and things like that. The other thing, so yes, arborist wood chips. People say they take nitrogen from the soil for the decomposition. No, that's wrong. They take it from the surface, just a very shallow surface below ground. They don't. It does not pull nutrients from the soil. There's 2 types of mulches. One is what I call, you have the bark and the hardwood mulches, which is actually tree material, whatever. And then you have what I call scrap wood mulch. So most of what you buy in the bags at the hardware store, whatever, the big box store, is is scrap wood mulch. It's just ground up old pallets and processed wood.
Really?
Yes. And they just dye it, black.
I didn't know that it was like pallets and stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah, pallets is a big part of that. I could show you the landscape supply places. You can see piles of pallets that are 30 feet tall.
And they're just chipping up
They just grind it up. They take out, they use magnets to take out the nails and things that are in there, and they try to take out the plastic and crap and junk that's in there or whatever. And then they dye it with usually a vegetable dye. So those scrap wood mulches. It's processed wood. Processed wood has either been heat treated, chemically treated, fumigated, whatever, to kill pests and pathogens. So in my mind, you basically have nuked all the organic value out of it. So the scrap wood mulches are still fine. They'll provide what I call mechanical benefits, weed suppression or moderating soil moisture and or temperature. You have a couple inches of mulch there, whatever. So that's fine. But it's got all the organic value of throwing a 2x4 on your flower bed.
Wow.
So I prefer the bark and the hardwood mulches because they still have that organic value.
It's probably more expensive though. No?
Probably, like I said,
you buy it at a store, I suppose.
The bag mulches, they're all pretty much the same price. But you have to look at it because it's like they use euphemisms for just like processed wood. Well, what the heck is processed? Everything is processed. My oatmeal is processed. My hot chocolate, my orange juice is processed. What do you mean by processed? So you have to kind of read that. But if you're looking for bark and hardwood mulches, which have the most benefit, the others are not bad. But I prefer the ones that are organic with that. But arborist wood chips, like fresh from the truck, you can chip up a branch in your chipper, throw it on your flower bed the next moment. It's fine. It's actually the best because it's like slow food for that. But I tell people, make your mulch rings much bigger than the root ball. The landscape company doesn't want to do that. They just want to throw it in the ground, kick some clods of dirt over it, and then take the check from you. But if you're going to do that, do it wider. I planted a tree in Alabama, a very famous tree, and I told him, I said, I want a big mulch ring. The mulch ring was like 8 feet from the trunk. Like, great. Now we put mulch down there because that also, a mulch is kind of like the stay the heck away from me zone. which is great when you have a young tree, because if you have a young tree and then you walk around that all the time, especially with repeated kids or repeated foot traffic, you end up compacting the soil, which means once the roots start to grow outside of the root ball, the hole that you dug for it, that soil is very, very dense and very compacted. The roots are going to have a very hard time penetrating that, which is what the tree needs to do. It needs to extend its root system out into the surrounding soil. So if you have a larger mulch ring, then you have less compaction on the soil, because even if people walk on it, you're walking and kind of squishing the mulch. You're not necessarily compacting the soil as much. So yeah, and then all the organic matter that's actually leaching into the soil is actually helping to make that soil environment better for the tree.
So now, people usually mulch in the spring. Do you mulch in the fall?
You can mulch pretty much any time you want. It's really not that big a deal, but it's another thing. Again, the landscaping companies, before you can't mow when the lawn's wet, but hey, we'll go over and mulch. So basically, a lot of the order of things is based on the needs of the landscaping industry. So,
Interesting.
So yes, we do stuff in the early spring because we don't have any work yet. So we'll aerate. Oh, it's good because the soil's moist or whatever. Well, lucky for you that's also true. But yeah, a lot, the order of things, you could mulch pretty much at any time of the year, whatever you want. There's no, I don't think there's any benefit one way or the other, or detriment one way or the other.
Well, and you've said before, as we approach fall, we're just a few months from leaves dropping and stuff. You say leave a lot of them, right? No, leave the leaves. Yeah. See what I did there? Yeah. Basically an arborist.
Don't quit your day job. You can if you want. You don't have to.
I thought it was good for the critters or whatever.
It is. It is with that. But again, if you're putting mulch down, you're also kind of doing the same thing that the leaves would be. But leaves actually break down fairly quickly in that, so they can be a very quick source of nutrients. So yes, if you want to do that in the springtime, it's if you can do it, is leave that stuff on the flower bed longer into the season, because there are things that live in that leaf litter that don't like having their life cycle disturbed. Yeah. So
in fact, you yelled at your husband or something about that. Well, not yelled, but wasn't it this spring you and I were talking about?
That was Daria.
Oh, it was Daria.
She told Jimmy to leave the leaves, yeah.
But we were talking about in the spring, like, stop it. Stop doing all that. Don't disturb the critters.
Even things like lightning bugs. They'll actually be in the leaf litter. So if you can leave the leaf litter even for just a couple more weeks, people think like it warms up in February. It's like, oh, let's do the spring cleanup now, because they're bored. They've been sitting around. They got spring fever. They got cabin fever. Let's get out and do something. Whatever if you want to get it off your lawn and put it on your flower bed and leave it there. Yeah, that's fine. So there are some benefits to that, but if you leave the leaves on the flower bed longer, you'll probably have less need to actually put additional nutrients into the soil.
I have a locust tree, so I really can't do much. They just stay there because they're so tiny.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't really move them anyway.
No, that's where you need a blower. Big backpack
get them
blower.
out.
Yeah.
Now, before we get too far, we do have to thank our sponsors, Laura.
Yes, please do.
So, and if you feel like thanking our sponsors too, John Palmer, Master Arborist, you can.
Sure.
Our first sponsor we'd like to thank is JLP CPAs accountants. They're amazing. They not only do your taxes, but their specialty is small businesses. If you're a small business owner, John, they'll do your taxes, your payroll, financial reporting, and what's the other one? Whatever sheets.
Balance sheets.
Balance sheets. You probably hate those, John.
Yeah, for most of my career, they're always red, and I could never figure out what I was doing wrong.
Me too. Well, they will take care of that for you. So if you're in a small business and you want to make it happen, get that off your plate, this Hudson-based firm is something to check out. Go to jlpcpas.com, jlpcpas.com. And what about your finances, John? They ever feel overwhelming? Like retirement, budgeting, investing? Does that ever feel overwhelming?
I'd rather think about trees.
Me too, honestly. And I'm a social scientist. You hate when I say that.
Yeah.
But most people feel overwhelmed by finances, things like budgeting, investing, retiring. Well, search no further than David Safransky, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group. Edgewater Investment Group will help you do all those types of things, budget and save and invest and plan and all those things and trade and buy low, sell high, all the stuff.
Right.
For more information how to connect with them, the best place to go is their website, edgewaterig.com. edgewaterig.com. Also, I have a brand new morning show.
Yes, you do.
John doesn't know about this.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You don't have to cry, John. It's exciting, but you don't have to cry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't planning on it.
I wasn't planning on
I
it.
think the '90s was the last time I cried. Unless you do something bad to trees, in which case I don't cry anymore. I start to, my blood pressure raises. But
Well, your blood pressure will not raise. It'll be actually a nice, relaxing thing. If you listen to my new morning show, it's called Upliftd Mornings with Brian. It's from KHCB, which is a Houston-based radio network, and they have an online stream called Upliftd. So I'll be hosting a 2-hour morning show on the Upliftd stream, and you can check it out. It's going to be launching on August 25th, and it'll have lots of music and scripture and, pithy, witty things from me and stories about John, maybe. I don't know. I might talk about you. You never know.
everybody does, and I want to just close my eyes and close my ears, just like I'm kind of like a drive-by arborist. I do my thing and then I run. Since I'm always cranky.
I like doing a sort of name drop, like, hey, good morning. It's Upliftd Mornings with Brian here on the stream. And I was talking to my friend, the certified master arborist,
that'd be good.
yesterday. Doesn't that sound big time? I think it sounds big time. So I may talk about you.
Please feel free. Everybody else has. So
I won't ask your permission anyway, so I'm going to do it.
I was going to say, what am I going to do about this?
Right.
So if you want to check it out, learn more, or listen, it's from 6 to 8 Central, 7 to 9 Eastern. Go to upliftedstream.org, upliftedstream.org. Does that sound right to you?
I don't know. That's new to me because that's not what's on the paper. So.
No, I know it's not on the paper because we got the new URL going.
Do you guys need some time?
No, he just thinks I know things that are in his brain. So
I wish you did sometimes. It'd be helpful for me. Finally, I'd like
getting into Brian's brain. I'm not sure that's someplace I want to go.
Yeah, stay far away from that. CCHO, Christian Children's Home of Ohio, has been our first partner and a loyal friend. We're grateful to them and for what they do. They care for the least of these in many respects. There's kids in our community here in Northeast Ohio who've experienced deep trauma and hurt and pain, and this residential place takes in kids, gives them the love and care they need, trauma-informed therapy. They get schooling there, and it's a wonderful environment, over 160 acres in the Worcester area. I went to visit. It's fabulous. Go check them out and support what they're doing to care for kids who have experienced deep trauma in our community. Go to ccho.org, ccho.org, and then don't forget to like our podcast.
yeah, you can rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. You can also become a Patreon member at patreon.com/thethirdplace. You get things like the cold opens, so us just chatting with John when he came in.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, ad-free content, so you get to skip all the ads, and you get the More On moment, you get videos from Daria, and Pause for Prayer.
You were laughing pretty hard at the pregame today.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell them what it was, but
Yeah, it was
you'd
funny.
have to go be a Patreon supporter
Yep.
and do that. All right. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. But we do want sponsors, by the way. We need more sponsors. We have more room for them. Join us. Go to our website.
Stainedglass-media.com.
Exactly.
Stainedglass-media.com.
I tend to say stained glass.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I say that.
Glass and dash.
That's what it
Together.
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
The one that got me first in my radio career, since if people don't know, I spent 20 years in radio before I started doing this tree thing, is I used to say mostly cloudly.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
I just,
yeah,
it was
totally.
weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just like
Lean into it.
No, I just drove home in my car by myself, going mostly cloudy, mostly cloudy, mostly cloudy, just trying to get the repetitive. Yeah, so
Absolutely something I do.
Some words, when you group them together, they're hard to say.
Yeah.
Like my friend Nick Gatsky.
It's hard. The CK and the G, and the other
Putting
K.
those together, you've got to be deliberate about Nick Gatsky.
It's hard.
I use big words to help me sort that out. So thigmomorphogenesis or heterozygosity.
Yes.
So I work on those things like that, and it helps.
I can't say justice statistics.
Yeah, we're working on a podcast series. It's going to be called 40 to Life, and she couldn't do it. I have a bunch of outtakes of Lauren
I couldn't.
trying to say justice statistics.
I just
Try it.
gave up.
Right now, go.
Justice to statistics.
See, it's hard.
It's the SC and the ST. I was like, I'm not doing this.
That's what she said in the
You
recording.
actually have to slow it down and actually make it two specific
Two whole words.
It's actually a whole bureau, the Bureau of Justice Statistics.
Yeah. I just
That's
gave
a
up.
mouthful.
Yeah, it is, and it just their statistics are probably just as confusing and,
Probably.
as saying it.
Oh, I thought you liked physics and science and
That's
math.
not.
I do.
Okay, but
Physics and
circling
stats
back.
is different.
Now, I think you said earlier that it's planting season.
Once the temperatures cool down, as we summer, we get 12-minute rainstorms that dump an inch and a half of
Right.
water,
That's
that
terrible.
all of it ends up in the streets or on the highways because it doesn't penetrate down into the soil. Once we get into probably September here in and it depends how close you are to the lake and things like that, at least here in Northeast Ohio. Once we get the temperatures cooler and rain, where we actually get more extended 4-hour rain, 6-hour, 8-hour day-long rain showers, then the conditions are much better. So September is usually, mid-September is probably when I start thinking about planting. And every year's a little different. But now's the time to plan as opposed to plant.
It's like, what do you want to do?
Oh, it's planning season.
You plan to plant. So, and the nurseries are ramping up for this because they want to get a bunch of stuff off their, out of their stores and things like that. So they want to sell a bunch of stuff in the fall. So fall's the best time to plant, actually, because
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was spring.
Oh,
no.
good, because I've got some plans.
Fall is the best time to plant because temperatures are decreasing, and then you have October, November, December. The soil isn't frozen yet. In many
Right.
cases, the soil doesn't freeze, all except maybe the top inch. So roots can still grow below ground during that time. So actually, it's hard to if you plant something in mid-May, late May, all of a sudden you could have temperatures that are in the 70s, or there's a fair amount of rain, whatever, and then like June 4th, bingo, it's 86. And all of a sudden, the poor tree that you just planted
Yeah.
has a very, very small root system, and so it's not well developed. So actually, fall is the best time to plant. Spring, you get the best selection because everybody's, all the garden centers and nurseries and on the growers and all that, they're ramping up to be able to sell stuff. So the selection is not as good in the fall. That's where, if you want to plant, you're going to plant a certain tree. Now you need to find out who has it. If there's a certain type of tree that you want to plant. White oak. I'm always telling people to plant white oaks. We need more.
Why?
We need more white oaks because white oaks, basically everybody used them for their flooring and their cupboards, and we wiped out most of the white oaks. White oaks is an anchor species in places like Ohio. So I tell
plant
people
your white oaks.
Plant more white oaks. I'm on a mission to plant more white oaks.
Are you going to share your plans? Like you said, you have plans. We
Yeah.
should submit them to the master arborist.
Yeah, we just have this little section that's just like a jumble of random plants. And I want them to not be there, and I want like nicer, cute plants.
Depends. Dig down in the soil and see what's going on. See when you do that. Dig down 8 to 12 inches in a couple of spots, and you can get an idea of the horizons of the soil and whether it's just really if it's near a building, it might just be highly compacted because that's where the building footprint was. All this construction equipment is through there and all that kind of stuff. So that's where breaking it up at least the first time before you plant is a good thing. But find out what's going on below
So
ground.
take all the stuff out first.
Not the whole, not the whole
everything.
thing, but just in a couple of spots, dig down maybe 8 to 10 inches and see what you're dealing with there.
Smell it, maybe.
And
Yeah, I'll smell it.
Well, and then you want cute thing? Like you want flowers? What are you, what are you
Like
saying?
right now, it's literally just a jumble of random things, and they don't stay alive very well. The leaves die very fast.
You should
It's
teach
just
her
not-
about perennials and annuals.
well,
I never understand that.
An annual is just a perennial that's in the wrong zone. Okay,
I'm more confused now.
Yeah. So
I get it.
something that's a
They're the same thing.
A New Guinea impatient in New Guinea blooms, and grows all year and stays alive and then comes back the next year. A perennial is something that just comes back year after year after year.
Okay.
So bulbs and things, they're also perennials. But if you have a shrub or a plant or whatever, you have they're perennials. You cut them. A lot of times you'll cut off the dead stuff at the end of the year, and then it comes back every year. Annuals you have to replant every year. That's
So
the
what are you
difference.
gonna do?
But what's most important is it does it get much water there? Is it covered by roof or a soffit or something or other, or an outdoor thing, or is it sunny? Is it shady?
It's a mix of both because we have our big giant locust tree gives it some shade, but it can get some sun during the day.
Yeah, so that so you have to plant the right plants in that because a plant that loves sun isn't going to like it really shady and vice versa.
Yep.
People that plant hostas in the middle of a full sun yard, it's just like, didn't you read the tag? It says part or mostly shade.
Yeah.
They're a shade plant. You put them out in the sun, they get roasted, and then they look terrible by June. And so people are like, They're not doing well. Yeah, they don't like it here.
Now, speaking of hostas, I feel like this time of year my wife is always talking about splitting the hostas
You can do that, but I would probably wait until October to do it.
Ooh, good note.
because you can split them and then they spread.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's cool.
The roots get really dense and get really large, and you can reduce the size of them just a little bit.
Is there a special way to do it without hurting the plant? Or you just break it in
shovel.
half.
Just get a shovel and split it. Yeah,
That
just
sounds
chop it.
aggressive.
Yeah, it is.
So, do you like hostas, or are you annoyed by hostas like hydrangeas?
No, they're fine. I'm fine with hydrangeas.
No,
too.
you're not.
He's fine with hydrangeas. He doesn't like the cutesy names.
No,
Call it
it's
what
just-
it is, the
it's
Latin
just
name.
what everybody has to have.
People
whatever.
always ask you about hydrangeas, and you can't. There's no way to know what to do with it, right? Because
Well,
there's so many.
Right, because they're so easy to
Right.
hybridize. So yes, there are like 4 zillion different varieties. People are, what kind of variety of this hosta? I'm like, I don't know. Did you save the tag?
Right.
You know, if you buy a hosta, save the tag so you know what you're dealing with there, because that depends on whether you're going to prune it, when you can prune it, or when you should prune it. Is it a repeat bloomer?
Is it a pinky winky?
Whatever. Yeah, I'm just annoyed by just annoying marketing. Just whatever, and names and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's because everybody has to patent their version of hydrangea so that they can get paid when people buy it from them. So it's actually a patent issue. That's why they name them the way they do. It's all these plants are all patented.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So they want to. If you want the Pinky Winky, you have to pay whoever hybridized Pinky
The Pinky
Winky
Winkies.
every one that you buy. It's a licensing
Yeah.
issue.
Now, when can you start like trimming trees, maybe cutting off thicker branches without harming the tree? There's certain months you do that, right?
Basically,
There's an R in it, or
no. You can. It's preferable to do dormant season pruning or late in the year. Yeah, when it's cooler and moist. You don't want to do stuff when it's really super cold, or really super hot or super dry.
so we're talking like October, November.
Yeah, that's a perfect time to do that. Now, if you're not, once the leaves drop, how can you tell a dead branch from a living branch that has no leaves?
Oh wow,
You
yeah.
can't. Now, there are some things that you shouldn't prune at certain times of year. Oaks, you should not prune them in the warm weather because of a disease that's fatal to oak trees called oak wilt. So if you have an oak tree, you generally don't do it unless it's for safety.
Wow.
Until April 1st to October 1st, because this fungus can be carried by beetles, and the beetles are attracted to the fresh cut wood. So you wait, and you do it before April 1st or after October 1st, roughly.
Okay.
There's an industry moratorium on pruning, because oak wilt, again, once a tree gets oak wilt, it can kill a mature oak within a couple of months. It's very, very quick, and it's fatal to oak trees. So,
Any final thoughts, tips for the fall?
like I say, do the planting now. Planting, again, if you're planting trees, dig the hole wider. And there are national standards about how to plant a tree. If you ask somebody, how do you plant a tree? They'll look at you and say, with a shovel, you knucklehead.
Kind of like how you split your hostas.
There are national standards for planting trees, how to plant trees, the size of the hole, what to do with roots. When you buy your trees, if you're buying them in containers, take off, use a hose or something or other and blow off the top, a couple inches of material, because you want to see if there are roots that are up near the trunk of the tree. Because if those roots are near the trunk of the tree, as the trunk grows, as the root grows, they actually contact one another, and it actually starts to essentially strangle the tree. So they're called stem girdling roots. So we don't want these. So if they're up against or even within a couple inches and growing, say, parallel or perpendicular to the trunk, you don't want that. You want to prune those off.
No girdles.
So no stem girdling root, and then the root flare where the trunk widens at the base. There are national standards that you need to be able to see that above ground, above the mulch and everything. But again, the ANSI A300 standards will tell you how to plant trees. Most landscaping companies aren't even familiar with them and don't use them. And that's why people like me get called in 10 or 15 years, why is my tree not doing well? It's like, well, you got a 3-inch diameter girdling root that's strangling your tree, because the people that planted it didn't take the time to look for potential girdling roots and get rid of them.
So if someone lives here in Northeast Ohio and they want to visit from the Cranky Arborist, John Palmer, how do they get a hold of you?
I suppose the easiest way to do that is just email through that. Is just crankyarborist@protonmail.com.
How sciencey. Proton mail.
Yeah,
Crankyarborist@protonmail.com.
com. Yeah. So if anybody wants to reach out, they're more than welcome to. And again, if you want to, if you're bored and need something to put you to sleep, I've got a video channel called Nose to Nose with Nature. It's on the Rumble platform. Nose to Nose with Nature, no spaces. It's got about 80 videos there. They're all anywhere from like 8 to 17 minutes long. It's just me with a GoPro. It's not really a podcast. It's just me ranting and being cranky on some issues. But
sounds great.
Yeah,
I like it.
So yeah, if you need something to put you to sleep at night, Nose to Nose with Nature on the Rumble platform.
Thanks for taking the time to come in. We always love hanging out with you.
Thanks for having me, and maybe we'll see you again.
Yeah.
I hope so.
All right.
And before we go, don't forget to check out our website, stainedglass-media.com, stainedglass-media.com. If you want to get a website, ours was made by Jonah Swenson. He's fantastic. He's available to make your website as well. You can scroll down at the bottom and his attributions down there with a link to his business, or you can reach out to us. We'd be glad to connect you. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, John Palmer, board certified master arborist.
I've been called worse.
As have I. All right. That'll do it for today's edition of the Third Place Podcast.